So 2024 has been a great year in terms of performance for the sector. We've all lived very happy days like we hadn't in a very long time. And today, the mere presence of all of you in this room suggests to me that there is a huge amount of interest in the sector. But the reality is today, the hospitality sector, the branded sector in the country is minuscule. We've got about 170 odd thousand branded keys here and there. And that is, really the size of Dubai as a hotel market, or be it Shanghai, and from which we are in fact smaller. And what that suggests to me is that there is a huge amount of untapped opportunity within the sector. And given that we have a very large class of people, which was made evident by my colleagues prior to my presentation, that there is a need to look at those sectors with more precise, in a more precise nature, to understand what's really in store for them. So at this conference, we wanted to take this opportunity to share with all of you what HVS believes is in the next big opportunity for the sector, and how it is in front of us and we're not able to see. The sector that I've highlighted over here, sharing that has a $10 billion opportunity that can be deployed today, is the opportunity in the economy hotel segment. Branded economy hotels in India are unavailable for people to consume. We have approximately 10,000 keys of branded hotels in the economy space, whereas markets like the US and China are exceeding 1 million keys. Right? For a population of our size and scale, that is a very small number. You will all agree that today India is at an inflection point. Our economy is likely to double in the next 5 years. We are looking to move from being the 5th largest in GDP to being the 3rd after US and China. And a lot of that growth is stemming from the large middle income group that we have in the country today, that today accounts for nearly 65%, but is likely to grow to 68% in the next 5 years. And a lot of these people are becoming increasingly aspirational. They are aspiring to utilize services, have better quality spaces, and actually enjoy what they earn. And a lot of that aspirational value was witnessed in the last 5 years from a host of economic pointers. Digital payment transactions grew by 7 times. Credit cards, in fact, doubled from what they were in 2019. And of course, Anuj shared with you how residential sales grew between FY19 and FY24, which nearly doubled as well. And all of this because the young India is aspiring to hold more than they have ever before. But the reality is, even though we are going to become the 3rd largest economy in GDP terms in the next 2 to 3 years, our per capita income is the smallest. It is smaller than all G20 countries that we hosted in 2023 in India. And to me, that tells a story. You're moving from being the 5th to the 3rd largest economy, but on a per capita basis, you are the smallest, right? And the reason being, there is a huge untapped market at the bottom rung that today is looking for aspirational products, but they're unavailable. If that didn't convince you, let me show you how the hotel stack in India lies. We've got nearly 60% of our hotels between upscale and luxury, where most of us sitting today live in, utilize the services. This hotel as well, being one of the most prominent in Goa, is in the luxury space. Comparing that with the US and China, two markets that we like to benchmark ourselves to, the supply stack is in fact inverted in our case. We've got only 40% rooms in the mid-scale and the economy space, as compared to 60% in the US and nearly 66% in China. This story becomes even more grave when I split the mid-scale hotels with the economy. Right. We still have a fair number of mid-scale hotels that a lot of our customers utilize, but the economy spread is extremely low. Only 7% of the 170,000 keys that I shared with you earlier are economy branded hotels. That amounts to about 10 to 12,000 keys, which, again, compared to what is offered in US and China, is minuscule. If still that did not convince you about the opportunity that lies within the branded economy space, let me share with you a bit of a history lesson that I've been hearing over the last 1 year as India's economy or GDP per capita has reached levels that were last witnessed in the US in 1960s. So we are quite far behind at this moment. But also in China between 2005 to 2010. At both these periods saw the largest growth in each of these markets from an economic perspective. These were the inflection points for US and China. In 1960s, US had come out of a war which led to increase in economic activity. It also led to the rise in leisure travel for the first time. And many of that travel was intercity, which led to a huge growth in hotels along highways. In China as well, between 2005 and 2010, we witnessed this huge growth. In fact, there is there's a company in China which is called Homins, which nearly has 250,000 hotel keys, which is again larger than the entire of India that we speak. But the key reasons why US saw huge growth in tourism or in travel, and so did China, was many factors, but four that stood out among them were infrastructure-led growth, huge advancements in technology, urbanization, and economic reforms by the government. And these were common across all the markets, all the major markets that we all have been witness to. And the one sector that benefited from all of this growth was the travel sector. As I mentioned, in 1960, saw the rise of the leisure travel in the US. In China, the fastest ever growth for the sector was witnessed between 2005 and 2010. One other trend that was visible during the same periods in the US and in China was the rise and the start of the economy hotel brands. Motel 6, that all of us know a lot of and have heard growing up, was founded in 1960 in the US. Um, Today, over 50 hotel chains exist just in the economy segment in the US. China, again, witnessed its largest growth in the economy space. By 2008-10, Homin had about 250,000 keys. And today, again, the economy segment accounts for a very large portion of the total hotel supply in China. One other trend that we recently read about, and it was published in a report by Deloitte, that the booking value of all hotel demand in India came 50% from the independent hotel sector, and the rest 50% was to the branded hotels piece, which is about approximately $16 billion in economic value. But the difference being that for the independent hotels, nearly 35% of that came from the economy segment. Whereas the branded hotel sector in India, the economy segment contributions only came from 7% of those hotels, which really showed to me or displayed to me the difference in how hotels are perceived by our travelers. There is a large market of the aspirational crowd in tier 2, tier 3 cities, tier 4 cities that are looking for quality service, but are having to use independent hotels to draw value for their overnight stays and so on. The reality is that over the next 5 years, our domestic tourism is going to triple. They're going to spend a lot more as well. And today, there are insufficient number of hotels available to cater to those needs. So I want to leave all of you with some food for thought. How can each of you look at the economy hotel segment and sector and say, can I deploy maybe 10% of what I have done in building my one major hotel and actually cater to the rising demand from the young India that we are all witnessing as, in amongst all of us that sit here. Thank you.